Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
tenor.
Just look after yourselves. You're all in Manchester and all over.
Everybody should have a vacation.
Good morning, Rabbi Isai.
Good morning, Rob Owen.
Good morning, Yoel Bergman from Chicago.
Rebelli's muted. Isn't it funny?
I'm muted. Okay, now I'm unmuted. Somebody unmuted me. Good morning, Yoel. Today's shir, how many chevra do we have on? 85, Baruch Hashem. Nice start. It just grows. Yesterday we started also by 80, and we grew up to like 120, plus 80 something people on YouTube, so it's over 200 people live. That was live. Baruch Hashem. Today's daf is being sponsored Lilu Nishmas Chana Rivka Bas David. The 8-minute daf and full day of learning is sponsored by the Ambrose, Herberter, Pravda, Siegel, Weinberger, and Eliwat families. Yishkoyach Reb Eliwat. Also, Refuah Shlema for Rabbi Yitzchak Avigdor Ben Chaya Sarah from Lakewood, New Jersey, Corona, and Refuah Shlema for Reb Chaim Tzvi Ben Rachel from Monsey, New York, Corona. Two people that are getting better, but they need a Refuah Shlema. This is Yeshua's wife's grandmother, Yehudis Bas Yehuda, who is just Nifter, and our good friend that had this on yesterday, but I didn't know who it was Yisachar Bram's grandfather, so we're putting him on again. Also Nifter yesterday, Reb Avram Gershom ben Moshe Zechroin Levracha. How's the Olam doing? Can't hear anybody. Kind of lonely here. We have a nice picture. I don't know if you can see this, but basically it's the daf right over here. And what's going on here in Eretz Yisrael is a beautiful thing. I've never seen it in America, but here in Eretz Yisrael, in our neighborhood and in a lot of neighborhoods, they bring tens of thousands of dollars worth of product and they sell it for really, really inexpensive. And people drive in with their cars, as you can see right over here. You just open up your trunk and they load up merchandise for Pesach. There's truckloads of meat, and it's tremendous amount of chesed that goes on here in the neighborhoods. And this is one of the guys from the shir, and obviously it takes some time to get through, so he's doing the shir. Beautiful picture. Let's read some emails here. Here, this is an email from Ari Mendel. I know you enjoy hearing about where people are tuning in from, so I'm checking in from currently Chicago. I drive a tractor trailer and travel the United States while listening to podcasts and audiobooks all day. But I haven't been pleased with the Daf Yomi options. Today, my mom, Teaneck, New Jersey, mentioned that she watched your YouTube videos, and to my delight, you make an audio podcast. We do. I'm several hours into brachas, and I feel like I'm back in yeshiva. Thanks for what you do, and stay safe. Ari Mandel, currently approaching South Bend, Indianapolis. Gewaldic. What else do we have here? We have email from... I heard the Olam talking from Manchester, so I don't know if that's what they were talking about. But let me see if I can find it here. 1 second. No, not this one. Bekitzer, it was an email from our Chaver from Manchester. And he tells us that he made a mistake. Here it is. So this comes from Rabbi Avram Weisvish, who stayed up till 4:45 a.m. so he could watch the shir with his son. What's his son's name here? Let's see if I can find it. But bottom line is, he's trying to say that he made a mistake, that he said when he said that Rav Vestheim is not in bad shape, but that he found out that he is in bad shape, and he needs a refuah shlema Rav Vestheim, Rav Osher Yankov ben Esther. Yishkoyach on the Geschmack, and v'chulu. Oh, Shmuli. Shmuli's 9 years old. So he stayed up with Shmuli till 4:45 a.m. to catch us on Zoom. Beautiful. I just want to do a little... I was thinking about these emails that I read recently, and one of them, the one we read about Shmuli Klein from Crown Heights. And he's in NYU on oxygen. I hope he's doing better today. I haven't heard a report from him. But one of the things I wanted to mention when I read his email is that he says that he was with us all the way through Shabbos Daf Yotes. And I mentioned that. Unfortunately, with not everybody, very few people. Hold on, let me move this Zoom. Baruch Hashem, we're not in the situation where in the hospital, etc. But there are other miniyos, other different types of things that are going to cause us, and we have the family, we have Pesach. So he's falling behind now. We're on Daf Chav Ches today. He's falling behind. So what is Shmuley Klein going to do when he gets out of the hospital, Be'ezer Hashem, tomorrow or today? What is he going to do? He's going to skip ahead and start on Daf Chav Ches. That's what he's going to do. He's not going to try to make up from Daf Yotes to Daf Chav Ches, because that's the Atzas HaYetzer. That's how you fall off the bandwagon of Daf Yomi. He's going to jump to Daf Chav Ches and he's going to put it in the front of his Gemara, all the way in the front. He's going to say, I missed these 10 Daf, and I'm going to have to make them up when I feel better and I'm up to it. So that's Yisod number one. And then when I was reading and I was thinking about this guy that called himself a modernish guy, it's constantly running through my head. Yes?
I think the person you just said to learn for passed away last night in Manchester.
Well, that's who it was? Rav Vestheim? Oy vey vey vey. Baruch Dayanemes. I didn't know. Okay, I got the mail late last night. Wow, Baruch Dayanemes. Wow, it's a big loss, big loss. All right, I didn't hear. Thanks. So, where was I? Modernish Mensch. So, as I was reading the email, I wanted to tell you the story, but we were running late. So I want to tell you the story real quickly about Modernish Menschen. When I moved to Eretz Yisrael 6.5 years ago, so I wanted to bring my kids, my two boys, to school on the first day of school. Actually, we had 3 boys then in school. So the school is a few blocks away. So I decided I'm going to walk them to school. So I walked into school, and as I'm walking to school, these people are giving me these dirty looks. Typical Israeli, like, who's this new guy? And I'm like, okay, I'm still a lechadash. I'm still excited. I'm not gonna let these dirty looks bother me. I get to school and I'm schmoozing with the menal, and he's a little colder than usual because I had a few schmoozing with him. And different parents are, they're checking me out. Who's this new guy? And I walk back home and I sit down on the couch. I'm all excited, send my kids to the new school and everything. And suddenly I had an itch on my head. So I go like this to scratch my head, and I realize I'm not wearing my yarmulke. I walked all the way to my son's school and all the way back, and I'm first day in school, and here's the shagets without a yarmulke. And I asked my neighbor Menachem Schloss, I said, did you notice that I wasn't wearing a yarmulke? He says, yeah. I just thought you were a modernish guy from Chicago. That's what he tells me. Anyway, so that's why you have to be down like Avschus. You never know. There's no such thing as modernish, not modernish. It's all funny names and games. We're all the same. We're all in this. And if you see a guy walking around without a yarmulke, maybe you should point it out to him. Maybe he forgot. Maybe he got stuck in his hat or in his tefillin or something. Anyway, let's jump into this sugya. So we had in the Mishnah yesterday, on the bottom of Chav Zayin Amud Beis, Kol hayotzei min ha'etz ein madlikin boy. If you have a product that comes from a tree, you don't use it as a wick, elo pishton, only flax. V'chol hayotzei min ha'etz eino mitame tumas oyalim. And anything that comes out of a tree is not, it itself doesn't become tamei as an oil. So if you create a ceiling made out of any type of product in the world, you have a ceiling made out of cement, out of wood, whatever it is, the ceiling itself that's over a dead body, everything in the room becomes tamei, but the ceiling itself does not become tamei. Unless it's pishtan, and we're going to see a couple of other things. Hides and the hair of a goat. So we basically have 3-4 things. Says the Gemara, all the way on the bottom, 3 lines from the bottom. What is the difference? Why is flax different? Why does it itself, and what's the point? All these materials are attached to the ground. It's mechubel karka. So mechubel karka, why would mechubel karka be metame. So and nothing's metame. All these products are not metame. Let me just fix this for a second if I can. Again, I'm not in. There's nobody here to help. Let's see, yeah, much better. Okay. And I want to make a shout out because I got some complaints lately. I'm talking to the 150, 200 people that are on live, but there's a couple, goes up to a couple thousand people when you add Torah anytime, you add the app that has 1,000 views a day, and our website, and YouTube later on. Now it dropped a lot, YouTube. It was in the thousands, now it's 700 a day, whatever it is. Let's say there's another 2,000 people watching, so I want to say Shalom Aleichem to the people who are watching afterwards. You're right. But like I explained, I feel like I'm talking to somebody here. I have all these faces in front of me. So Mamela, here, let me hit the screen a second. Yitzi Spiro, Chicago. Who else? Chaim Land, I don't know who that is. Shalom Aleichem, Reb Chaim Land. And was noch? We have a bunch of new guys. Okay, beautiful. Oh, Reb Ezra Abrams from Australia. Unbelievable. Okay, so we have an Australian online, and we have the guys from Manchester. We have South Africa. I'm sure, what's his name? Leon is on somewhere. I haven't seen him. Okay. Zog the Gemara. How do we know this concept? Something is mechuber lekarka. You have pishton, you have flax that's attached to the ground, yet it itself is tummy. Amr Belazar Gomar oil mim Mishkan. Okay, I have Xer Shava from the Mishkan. Ksiv, it says by the oil. Zois hat Torah, it says by oil hameis. Zois hat Torah, Adam kiyomas ba'oil. If a person dies in a tent, in an oil, under a ceiling, uchsiv hasam vayifrois es ha'oil ala Mishkan. And it says by the Mishkan, so we're going to be talking a lot about this Mishkan. You guys see this? So this is the Mishkan, this square over here. And it has 3 layers. One is called the Mishkan, this top layer that's closest to the Mishkan. I don't know if you can see it. It's 3 like blankets. 1, 2, 3. This one is made out of tzemer and pishtim. This one is made out of goat hair, this gray one. And this very nice one, I don't know if you see.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. The top one is colorful and red. Part of it, this part over here is red, and this part over here is colorful. And then you have underneath, layer 2 is goat hair, and the final layer over here is tzemer pishtim. Says the Gemara. Mala halon shel pishton kori oil. Afkan shel pishton kori oil. The Torah says oil. Let's see if I have the pasuk. I should have some pasuk somewhere. Here you go. Basisi is izim oil. You see, it's oil. Ala mishkan. Years. This is talking about the middle layer, the izim. Izim are the goats, the goat hair. Torah calls it a oil. And it says by oil hameis, the word oil. So I learned Xer Shava. Mala alon shel pishton kori oil, afkan shel pishton kori oil. In the Mishkan, we call the goat hair a oil, and that includes all 3 layers, including the tzemer pishton. So too, when it comes to oil hameis, if I have pishton, it's oil. Imal alon. So now the Gemara says, wait a minute. So I have Xer Shava that teaches me the material. What material? All this. Anything that's over here in the Mishkan is part of the material that becomes Tameh itself. Perhaps the way that material is used, we should also have to do so. So if there's special halachas in the material, I have to do so and so. I have to use 6 strings, and I have to, I don't know what. So everything that's in the Mishkan should be included. In other words, nothing becomes tameh unless it's exactly like the Mishkan. You're telling me you're bringing a Mirai from the Mishkan? Says the Gemara, no. Imal alon shezurim v'chutim kafel sheish. We basically know what kafel sheish is. but this is like your tzitzis. You take 6 strings. This is tcheles. This is the regular argamon. You take 6 strings, and you make out of it 1 string. If you're to take your string, if your string gets caught in the laundry, you see it starts coming apart. It's made out of different strings. So in the Mishkan, they took 6 strings and they made 1 thread out of it. So perhaps the only time it becomes tamei is if it's exactly like the Mishkan. Afkan, Shazurin, V'chut and Kafel, you have to put them together. Afkan, Shazurin, V'chut and Kafel, Shisha. Tamaloymar, Oyel, Riba. It says the word oil a couple of times to be marb and say no. Any kind of way you use the pishtan, it's tamei. Ask the Gemara, oil riba, afilu kol milinami. So it says a bunch of times oil. So it's include silk, include some other material. Says the Gemara, im ken gzeir shava maya hanilei. But there is a gzeir shava that locks it down and says no, only these materials. Now, in the materials, it doesn't have to be exactly like the Beis Hamikdash, causes a riboy. But don't go ahead and be marba everything, because if you marba anything, then I don't need gzeir shava. Just say beged or whatever. Every material in the world should be tamei. The gzeir shava limits it to pishtan. Now we know wood is not mekabel tumah, but why? The Mishkan, everybody knows the Mishkan has wood. Look at all the wood here. All this is wood. So maybe wood should also be part of this ceiling that becomes tamei. The Torah tells us mefurish, you make the wooden beams for the Mishkan. It isn't the Mishkan itself. The beams aren't the Mishkan. The beams are for the Mishkan. For the Mishkan is different. We're talking about the Mishkan. The Mishkan is the Yeriyos, those 3 layers that we have on top of the Mishkan. Mishkan kari Mishkan, vein krushim kari Mishkan. These 3 layers are called the Mishkan, and not, let's see if we have it, and not the krushim that go for the Mishkan. It says you should make a covering for the oil. In other words, michse, I don't know if you can see over here, but this bottom layer is called Mishkan. The middle one, the goat one, is called oil. I should have put it in here, but it was too late. And the top one is called a michse. The nice red and colorful one is a michse. But it says michse la'oil. It's a covering for the oil. It isn't the oil itself, it's for the oil. The same kind of svara you're telling me about wood, that is la mishkan, this is la oil. So you're telling me that this covering is not considered a tent. Rebbe Elazar has a question, and we're actually going to discuss it at length. He wants to know whether or not the hide of a non-kosher animal, let's say I take one of these guys, I take these, and this is not far off of what they had in the Beis Hamikdash. They had a beautiful cat, as we're going to see soon. You take the leather, the hide of a non-kosher animal, can it become tamei b'tumas hameis? In other words, if I use that over a dead person, does it become tamei? Says the Gemara, what's his question at all? We have to understand the question. Where did it come from? If we're saying that v'osisa michse la'oil, that the top layer, this top layer is actually hide, tachash, elim ma'adamim. You see, it says over here, elim. I'm going backwards, left to right, so that's why it's a little funny. But anyways, elim. It's made out of ram leather and tachash. We're going to see what tachash is, but it's leather. And it says la'oil. So it's telling me it's not mekabel tumah. If you could tell me it's not mekabel tumah, so then what is Rebbe Elazar asking? Of course, non-kosher hide is not mekabel tumah, because even kosher hide is not mekabel tumah. Says the Gemara, says the Gemara, you're right. If you're just going to read it from the pasuk, la'oil, you're right. Hide is not mekabel tumah. However, there's another pasuk, Shani Asam, the Hader Adri Kro, Hadri Krod Chsiv V'Nasis Yiris. There's another pasuk. It says V'Nasis Yiris HaMishkan V'es Oyel Mayed Michseyu. Here it says the cover U'Michsei Tachash and the cover Tachash. Asher Olav. In other words, the top layer is part of the Oyel Mayed. Makish Elyon Tachtoin. There's a hekesh all three layers to each other. Ma Tachtoin Karu Oyel. Just like the bottom one, meaning the middle one, the Torah calls oil. So too, it says izim oil. So the middle one is considered oil. So too, all three are considered oil. Afelyan kar oil. However, wood, crushim, are not called oil, and therefore wood is not mekabel tuma. And so, what do we have right now? We have that whatever is made, whatever covers the oil mayid, the Mishkan, whether it's pishton, semer, oiros, the hides, and goat hair, they are mekabel tuma from a dead person. So if they create a tent, they create a ceiling above a dead person, these are the only materials in the world that they themselves become tummy. If I have a ceiling made out of cement, if I have a ceiling made out of wood, whatever it is, linen, does not become tummy itself. It spreads the tumah to the rest of the room, but it itself doesn't become tummy. Says the Gemara, Gufa by Rebbe Lazar, Arbeim Tmeyo, Maushi Tam Tumah Soyalim. So Rebbe Lazar had a question. We're going into his question. Does the hide of a non-kosher animal become tummy itself? Says the Gemara, Maikim Bayalei. What is the question at all? I don't understand. There was no such hide in the Beis Hamikdash. It's not part of the Mishkan. We just said it has to be part of the Mishkan. Why would I think the non-kosher hide is mekabel tuma? Omer Rav Adar bar Ahava, Tachash. The top layer is called Elim El Damim and Tachash. Tachash Rabbeinu Moshe Kamei Bayilei. What did Moshe Rabbeinu use? Perhaps he used a non-kosher animal. Tameh Tar Haya. Omer Rav Yosef, and we have to remember this Rav Yosef. We're going to bring him up soon as well. Explain him. Mighty Bayilei. What kind of question is this? Tanina Lo Yuchshu LeMeleches Shomayim. When it comes to all melacha of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's all with kosher animals. By the way, the end of the sugya, we're going to say that that's referring to the ritzua of a tefillin. But right now, it's a very general statement, meaning the entire Mishkan has to be built with kosher animals. What's the havamina that in Rebbe Lazar that he used, perhaps Moshe Rabbeinu used a non-kosher animal? What's a Rebbe? Rabbi Yudai Mishnei Michsois Hayu Echad Shalars Elim Yaldam Echad Shalars Tachashim. This machlokes, the top layer was made out of two hides, one hide. Rebbe Nechem Yover Michsa Echad Hayu was one. V'Daima Kimin Tila Ilan. It's similar to something that hangs on a tree. What hangs on a tree? Rashi says a wild cat, a Tla Ilan. I'm going to tell you that I think we have to go back to the safari here. Where is it? Here's a picture I took myself. Very rare picture because anybody that ever went to safari knows it's hard to see a Tala Elon. This is what I think it looks like. Anyways, something like this. Now it's not this because the Gemara is going to say it's extinct. These are leopards, a mother and her daughter, and they both have a kill here, Baruch Hashem. Very rare. Fine. By the way, when we go on our cruise for the Sima Shas, we're stopping off, obviously, in the safari, and then it'll be explained over there why it's so hard to see the leopard, but they do hang out in trees. Tla Elon. Says the Gemara, wait a minute. Rav Yosef just said you can't use non-kosher animals, and now you're telling me that what Rav Nechemi says that the cover was, but if you look closely, he doesn't say it was a leopard, it was a Tla Elon. He says v'doima, kimin. It's as if, it's like. But Tla Elon tameyu, hachi kamar. Kimin Tla Elon, it looked like a Tla Elon, shesh by gvanim harbe, a beautiful hide. V'loi Tla Elon, but it wasn't tamei. Ilhasam tamei v'achatar. When you make the Beis Hamikdash, it has to be done from tar. What kind of animal that's kosher has such beautiful hide? I don't know. But that's what he had, and we're going to see in the Gemara that it was Nignaz. Omer Rav Yosef, Yachi Hainu Targiminon, says Goina, when it says Tachash, why doesn't the Targum say Tla Elon? Some sort of leopard, tiger, whatever. It should say whatever it is in Aramaic. What does he say? Says Goina. Says the Gemara says Goina, the sin could be switched into the samach could be switched over to a sin. Sus is a lotion of simcha. Sus bigvanim harba. He's happy with his beautiful colors. He walks around, looks in the mirror, and says, look what a beautiful leopard I am. Look what a beautiful, wild cat I am. That's a Tachash. So Moshe Rabbeinu used Tachash as the top layer on the Mishkan. It had beautiful colors, and that's why the guy that made that beautiful book on the Mishkan has, if you look closely, it's nice. It doesn't look anything like a leopard, but he did it nice and colorful right over here. Okay, fine. Says the Gemara, Rava. Comes Rava along and says like this. Not true. There was the non-kosher hide of an animal, non-kosher skin, is mikabel tuma. So Rava uses something called, let me just go back here, called a tzad hashava. Very simple concept. And basically we take two halachas. In this case we take the halacha of tzaras and the halacha of sheretz. And they both have a common denominator. They both have one thing, they both become tamei, they're metama, non-kosher hide. So from that I could take that halacha and learn a third halacha and say that non-kosher hide is metama b'oil hameis. That's what we're trying to figure out now. Is non-kosher hide metama tumas oil? It itself, does it become tamei tumas oil? So if I take these two things, now the Gemara is going to start off with one at a time, and one at a time, each one has a chumrah, and we're familiar with these chumras, we had them yesterday. What's the chumrah of tzaras? Tzaras is metame even a thread, a single thread. It's a big chumrah. It's a very small amount. Sheretz has a chumrah. If we're going to take them one at a time, we're going to try to learn it just out of sheretz. It has a chumrah that it becomes tamei. It's metame something as small as an adasha. Yes, tzaras could be very thin, the size of a thread, but the thread has to be able to make a 3x3 finger. A sheretz is metama the size of a lentil. We had it yesterday here, just in case you forgot. A lentil versus a gris, which is much larger. Fine. But if one at a time doesn't work, let's combine the two, and we have a common denominator, and we learn from here that non-kosher hide is mekabel tumah. It itself is mekabel tumah. Let's see inside. Says the Gemara, what happened to my thing? I don't have anybody to help me. Givaldik. Okay. So now I'm going to have to look for my spot. Maybe it fell down somewhere. Yes. Okay. Found it. Givaldik. Says the Gemara. Rava, where are we? Rava. Rava Omar. Or right where it becomes wide. Rava Omar. Or the Sanya. Or it should say in the Torah the word or. Ayin Vav Reish. What does it say instead? Oy ve'or. The Torah adds on another vase. Why? Riba, to teach us a halacha. Or behema tmeya. If you have hide that's from a non-kosher animal, but this is the only halacha we need now. Or behema tmeya. Now we're going to learn a couple other halachas, not important to our sugya. V'shalaka b'yad hakohen. If somebody showed the hide to a kohen to see if there's a tzaras, we're talking about tzaras here, and he gives a psak, no, and then later on the tzaras pops up, it's still tamei, even though I showed it to the kohen. Okay, not important for today. Katzas mekulan, person made, somebody sent me, because we were talking about 3x3 begadim or 3x3 tfachim, and he showed me a beautiful something that is somebody made, like one of these blankets you make out of different patches. So if somebody took all these different things, a little piece of hide, a little piece of pishtan, a little piece of this, made them all together into one beged, that it becomes tamei from tzaras. Fine. So, the Gemara wants to say, just like by tzaras, non-kosher animal becomes tamei from tzaras. I have this nice piece of tiger. Where was it? Somewhere? Yeah, right over here. If this gets a little bit of tzaras on it, tamei. But it's a tiger. The Torah says ve'ar, to include tigers, to include all non-kosher animals. The Gemara wants to say, okay, so if so, a tiger that's above a dead body, it should also become tamei. Says the Gemara, but I could slug it up. How could I learn oil amaze from tzaras? Tzaras makes a. Hey, how you doing, Joey Levy? Tzaras becomes tamei when there's a thin string, a thread, and not oil amaze. So let's abandon this for a minute. We'll come back to it soon, but let's abandon tzaras. Let's try it out from sheretz. How do I know if a dead rat touches this non-kosher hide? The non-kosher hide becomes tamei. A reboot. Okay, not a good raya because the sheretz becomes tamei from a very small amount called an adasha. But oil amaze, you need at least a kazayis of meat in there. So now I'm going to go back to my first thing of tzaras. V'chazar din, and I go in a circle. Catch 22. Each one has its own special chumrah. But one common denominator they have is that the hide is tamei. Not only that, but even the hide of a non-kosher animal becomes tamei. And therefore, I'm going to learn from the two. I'm going to learn a third thing. And therefore, I'm going to learn this halacha that if I hang hide above a dead person, it itself becomes tamei. Okay, so that's Rav's limud. I have it tzad shava. Asks another Rav called Rav Ibn Barnish, as Rav Ashi. I could ask a question on Rav. They all have to have a common denominator. But if tzaras and sheretz are way different than oil hamez, then I can't learn oil hamez from them. Why? Why are they different? Because they can become tamei and metama less than a kazayis. Oil hamez, we know you need a full kazayis. A lentil is less than a kazayis. A shesi ve'erev, less than a kazayis. Elama Rav Ibn Barnish, Asio Daf Chav Chesam and Beis. As we got the Chomer mi Noitz Shalizim, Rabbi say on Sunday we're going to have unbelievable. I gathered this beautiful stuff. Says the Gemara, I learned it from a Kav Chomer from Noitz Shalizim. What's Noitz Shalizim? Remember, cover number 2 is Noitz Shalizim. The second blanket, Noitz Shalizim. What's the halacha over there? Sheimetame ben Egoyim. Is goats here mitama with the tzaras? Yes or no? No. How do I know? Because we had the whole sugi yesterday, the day before, that tzaras is only mitama with semer upishtim. Remember? Beged semer upishtim. It has to be wool or flax. So therefore I know that goats here is not included. Yet, mitama boil ameis. How do I know that goats here is mitama boil ameis? That I had the whole sugi today. That anything that's on the Mishkan, including goats here, tamei be'olei hameis. But it's not mitama with tzaras or behema tmeya. Shemitama b'negoyim, the hide of a non-kosher animal that becomes tamei with tzaras. It's in the pasuk or right. And it didn't shemitama be'olei hameis. So certainly it should be mitama be'olei hameis. Now let's go back to Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef said you could only build the Beis Hamikdash and you can only do stuff with kosher animals. So ask the Gemara, according to Rashi, says Rashi, then what Rav Yosef says has to be relevant to today. Today. So what is he adding that we don't have today? What the fact is that non-kosher skin is mekabel tum. So what is Rav Yosef adding? You can't do what? We don't have a Mishkan anymore. So what is Rav Yosef saying? Oh, by the way, anything you do for Sheshamayim has to be with kosher. And therefore what? How does it apply to me right now in Bet Shemesh and Leon in South Africa. What does that have to do? Says the Gemara, Tefillin. To tell me that when I make a parsha of tefillin, the actual cloth has to be from a kosher animal. Tefillin, b'hediksibu. I don't need Rav Yosef. Leman tia Torah Hashem beficha, min hamuter beficha. It says in the pasuk, beficha, in your mouth. It has to be something I could consume, I could eat. So it has to be from a kosher animal. It's very interesting that without Rashi, I would have skipped this completely in a second. But we're using this pasuk, min hamoiser beficha, for many things in this list. Ella lo'iron. To tell me the box of my tefillin, the square box that I put on my head, on my hand, has to be from a kosher animal. V'omar Abaye, shin shel tefillin, halacha Moshe Sinai. And this is what I'm saying. There's a little knei here in Rashi. The shin, what's the shin? It's part of shakai. Shin, dalid, yud. I have a shin in my tefillin shorosh. I have a dalid in the back of my tefillin shorosh on my knot. It looks like a dalid. Some people I never understood have a square. That's their minhag. But most people have a dalid. It looks like a dalid. And then I have a yud on my tefillin shel yad. Together that spells Hashem's name, Shakai. So, since I am writing a shin and it's on my tefillin, so it has to be moiser. So here's the catch. I would have gone on. It says in the Gemara, Omar Abaye, shin shel tefillin, halacha Moshe Sinai. It's not Rabbi Yosef, it's halacha Moshe Sinai. But Rashi sticks one more level. Since the halacha Moshe Sinai says I need a shin, so once I need a shin, it's part of the shakai. It's part of a word. If it's part of a word, then it's hamuter bepicha. It has to be something that you can consume and eat. Rashi sticks in the pasuk here. It's not just halacha Moshe Sinai. Hello. So what do I need Rabbi Yosef for? Lekarchem b'saron uletafrim begidon. Here, picture. Every parsha, they make it like a square. This is flat. And then they wrap the parsha with a piece of hair from a kosher animal. You see? This guy, he's wrapping it with a piece of hair. And then, by the way, if you notice on your tefillin shorosh, you'll see little hairs coming out. Those are hairs, not gidim. Those are the hairs from the parshiyos of your tefillin. And then we sew our tefillin with sinews, with gidim, as right over here. How do we know that? How do you know you take kosher hair? How do you know that you use a kosher sinew? A gid. From Rav Yosef. No. Halacha Moshe Sinai. Fine. No, I skipped something. Abaye, shin shel tefillin, ela kach misaron l'darim begidin. Hanam halacha Moshe Sinai. The sanya. Tefillin merubais, the fact that we have square tefillin, and they say, if you go to places that don't have, go to Yemen, go to anywhere in the world, to Morocco, and everybody's tefillin looks the same. They're all square. It's a raya that we all come from the same place, and we all have the same minhagim. Nikrochais b'sa'aron, v'nitfaris begidon, the fact that you have to wrap it with the hair and sew it with a gid, is halacha Moshe Sinai. Ella, finally the Gemara says l'ritzuos. To the actual ritzu that you put on your hand, and then tefillin shorosh, that's halacha Moshe Sinai. V'amar Rabbi Yitzchak, ritzuos shchayros. Ritzuos shchayros halacha Moshe Sinai. The fact that you have to paint them black is halacha Moshe Sinai. Yes. Nehi the gemir the shchayros taris mi gemiri. I would think yes, halacha Moshe Sinai has to be black, but what material are you using? That I don't know. And the Rashba says something very interesting real quickly. He just says, look, part of the Ritzuas is Dalid Yud. And Dalid Yud is part of writing, and part of writing it has to be Mutar Picha. So why do I need halacha Moshe Sinai for that? Says the Rashba, the Shin is actually written. But the Ritzuas looks like a Dalid, it looks like a Yud, it's not a physical one, so therefore I need halacha Moshe Sinai, I can't learn it out of the pasuk. My Havi Allah. So at the end of the day, this Tachash that was on top of the Mishkan, was it from a kosher animal or not kosher animal? Says the Gemara, Omer Rabbi Shlomo ben Lakish. Omer Meir. He says in the name of Meir, Tachash Rabbi Moshe, Bria b'fnei atzma yo. Moshe Rabbeinu found a very unique species that doesn't exist anymore. We have no idea, very unique. We don't know if it was a chaya, a wild animal, or a domesticated animal. This is where they got the idea of unicorn. But this is different than a unicorn, because, as we're going to see soon, it's kosher. He had a single horn. Well, if he shot his Damalele Moshe, it was like an emergency, and it just showed up. Mishkan, and Moshe Rabbeinu created the Mishkan, the Tachash, that's the top layer of the Mishkan, V'nignaz, and it went bye-bye. We don't have that species anymore. Says the Gemara, from the fact that he had one horn, I could prove to you that he was a kosher animal and not a tummy animal. Adam Rishon also had a single horn bull, and he was makrivit. So if Adam Rishon's bull was kosher, so too Moshe Rabbeinu used a kosher animal. Because it says the Gemara, Shenemar v'titav l'Hashem mishor par makri mafris. Adam Rishon's tefillah. Yes.
If that's the case, how come they didn't know that it was a behemoth?
Oh, very good kasha. But the Gemara is going to ask that in 10 seconds. Baruch Hashem, I see, Noam, that you didn't learn the Gemara today, so I'm happy. Most of the time you have one step on me, and you ask me Gishmak Kashas. Today I see that you didn't. You're too busy with the corona. Gewaldig. Noam always learns the daf behead. It's good, it keeps me in place. Him, Menachem, a bunch of other guys. Mendy, where's Mendy today? No, you're fine. Makrin tarti mashma. Frek the Gemara, but makrin is plural. It's two horns. What do you tell me? He had one horn. Makron ksiv or mikeren. The point is, it's without a yud. We read it with a yud, but the way it's written is without. So mela, it means one horn. It was a unicorn. Ramesha Feinstein says something beautiful. He says at the end of the day, this bull is the father of all bulls that we know today. Yes, they have two horns. It was a little different, but obviously it was kosher. Says the Gemara, and a behema. Okay, so it was a behema, it was a bull. It says mafurish in the Torah is a bull. Kivin dike keresh, the minchayu, v'lesle lechad keren. Since there's an animal, and we learned about him in Chulin, called a keresh. And that's a non-domesticated animal, and it has a single horn. Maybe perhaps it was a keresh. Now, very interesting. Going back to this.
I was asking if he was makrivit. If he was makrivit, then it was obviously min behema, and if it has to be similar to what we were makriv, and we're learning from there.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know. I have to look into what you're saying because he didn't have a Beis Hamikdash. He didn't have a mizbeach. He's makriv a korban to Hashem. It could be any kosher animal. I don't know that he can't be makriv a chaya. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're right. I have no idea. I'm saying you're right that in the Beis Hamikdash you're not makriv a deer, but Meich Teisa Adam Rishon couldn't. But forget about that. It was a behema. It was 100% a behema. It says in the pasuk par. It was a bull. I don't know why I have to come onto this whole cheshbon. It says it's a behema. The question is if our thing is a behema. Now the Aruch says what's a keresh? It's a giant animal with one horn. And you make very interesting medicine out of its horn. So the first thing that came to mind was the safari. Look at this. It has one horn. And in China today, Yosef, you hear, in China, they make medicine out of this. Now, how much does this horn cost? Rabbi said, you know how much this horn costs? We spoke about this. This horn cost over $500,000. Why? Because in China, they use this as medicine. But it can't be that I'm right. Why? Because this is a non-kosher animal. And we're talking about a kosher animal. So you know what they say in Chulin? There was a shita over there I saw. Perhaps it's this animal, because it says over there, it's such a huge animal, it's 8 meters. Now there's another animal in the safari that's about 6 meters, and that's this guy. Now how does this, some people say this horn right over here is like a single horn. These guys are like antennas, but here he has a single horn. Kitzer, and that's a kosher animal. We know giraffes are kosher, and maybe that's what Tachash is. Anyway, just interesting. In Chulun, we had a whole sugi over there. Says the Gemara, if you want to look at, I think it's Chulun Daf Nun Tes. Says the Gemara, fine. Says the Mishnah, beautiful Mishnah. Psilas habeged shekipla v'lo hivavo. You take a piece of clothing. Now, Rabbi say, if you daven Ashkenaz, and you read this Mishnah hundreds of times in your life, and you didn't learn this Gemara in B'Mem Likin, I can guarantee you, I'm willing to put $2 million on this, that you didn't understand Pshat. Why? Because the Gemara says that to understand Pshat in these 3 words, you have to have a 4-step. You have to go through 4 steps. It's almost impossible. It's the craziest, one of the craziest Pshatim I've ever heard in my life. Psilas habeged shekipla. If you take a piece of cloth, you take your suit, and you fold it over, and you make a wick out of it. How else are you going to make a wick if you lived in the time of the Gemara? You take a piece of old clothing and make a wick. V'lo hivava. Now, you know how you light your candles before Shabbos, so it makes it easier for your wife. You singe it. You make it dark. You make it black. Now it can light easier. You didn't do so. So in other words, we're dealing with a piece of clothing. It's not really a wick. Yes, you folded it. Rebbe Lezer says it's tamei, and you cannot light with it. The Gemara is going to explain everything. Rebbe Kiva Omer tahiri umadlikin bo. Bishleima linyan tuma ba'pligi. If we're talking about tumah, here's the machlekes. The Rebbe Lezer saw about kipol in moil. At the end of the day, it remains a beged. So what if you folded it over nice and you made it into a wick? It's still a beged. And a beged is tamei. Kipol in moil doesn't help me that I folded it. Ube milska ma'isikaima, so it's still tamei. V'Rekiva savar kipol moil ubatuli batul. Rebbe Kiva says it is good when you fold it. You changed from 1 second to the next. It went from clothing to a wick. So it's no longer clothing, no longer tamei. But what is the machlokes when it comes to lighting the candle? Omer Rebbe Lazar, by the way, we have 115 people on Zoom now, and we have many other on YouTube. Everybody is welcome to get up and walk away and just listen to this later. It's just another 2 minutes, but we have to continue a little bit. So I'm not going to be insulted if you get up and walk away because I'm not going to see you. Says the Gemara. What's the machlokes whether or not you can light this on Shabbos? Omer Rebbe Lazar, Rebbe Shaya, V'chein Omer Rebbe Rahava. Listen to this pshat. Phenomenal. I don't know. How do you think of something like this? Hacha. Let me say this about peh. We're talking about a piece of clothing that's exactly not a millisecond, nothing larger than 3 by 3. And we're talking about that it's Friday, Yontif Friday, Erev Shabbos. And we're talking about it goes according to Rabbi Yehuda and according to Ula. And if you have all these 4 things together, you have a pshat. It's talking about it's exactly 3 by 3 fingers. And it's Friday, Yontif. The Kuli Al Mislu de Rabbi Yehuda, and you have to hold like Rabbi Yehuda. The Omar Mesikim Bekalim Mesikim Beshivri Kalim. Wow. Rabbi Yehuda holds the concept of noilad. If something is created and born on Yontif, it's muktzah according to Rabbi Yehuda. According to Rabbi Shimon, it's not. Meaning, if I have a perfectly good vessel and I singe it, and now it became broken, it's no longer a kli, it turned into a shever kli. A shever kli is not a kli, it's noilad. I didn't think about this Erev Shabbos, Erev Yontif. Erev Yontif, I thought this is a perfectly good kli. Now, during Yontif, it became a broken kli. Broken kli I can't touch because it's noilad. It's brand new. Oh? But let me ask you something. When I lit it, it was a perfectly good kli, and then that's it. So I lit it, okay, why can't I light it? We're going to say that according to Rabbi Yehuda, you can't mess with this wick. Because once it's burnt, it's no longer 3 by 3 fingers, because it's exactly 3 by 3. When you singe it, it becomes slightly less than 3 by 3. Less than 3 by 3 is not a kli, it becomes muktzah, you're not allowed to touch it. But what's the problem? I lit it, and now I'm done. The answer is I have to take one more step. It's not enough to just light it. I have to light the entire wick. That takes time. By the time I get to the bottom of the wick, I'm already touching muktzah. And I can't touch muktzah, yontif. Nomar, I'm not allowed to use broken kalim that broke on yontif because that's called the muktzah of noilad. And I have to take another step and say that I hold like gula. When you light something, I have to light most of it. Rebbe Lezer Sava kipul eni moyel, so it doesn't help me by folding up the wick like we said before. V'kivin dadlik purta, and since I lit some of the wick, havilo shever kli, it becomes a broken vessel. V'chikom madlik v'shever kikom madlik, and therefore I'm over on noilad. V'Rebbe Akiva Savar kipul moyel. Rebbe Akiva says no, but once I fold over this beged, it's no longer a beged. V'entar is kli olav, it's no longer a kli. V'chikom madlik. So again, when I read this tonight, I'm going to read this tonight. A wick that I folded over, which was exactly 3 fingers by 3 fingers, and it's Erev Shabbos Yontif, and I hold like Rabbi Yehuda that says that if I ruin some of this wick, it became noilad, and it's muktzah, but only because I hold like Ula that says that I have to light most of the wick and I have to get down to the bottom of it. According to that, I cannot light it on Erev Shabbos Yontif. But if it's not Erev Yontif, if not Yontif, it's a regular Erev Shabbos, or if the clothing, my wick, is less than 3 by 3, or, by the way, what kind of wick we're talking about? Only linen. The kitzer, you have to have a lot of different things going on here in order to have this Mishnah work out. Rabbi Sai, Shir HaMotzei Shabbos is 9 o'clock. Have a wonderful, wonderful Shabbos. Have a wonderful day. And now we're going to say Kapitel Tehillim for those in dire need from Corona. Yeah, I'm listening.
The Olam asks that you don't unmute until you finish the Tehillim.
I'm not unmuting anything. That's Gary's thing. If he wants, he could mute or